business.
Good evening and a warm welcome to GBS News at 9. Today, the 21st of February 2023. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenke. And together we'll be serving you with the leading news of the hour. And of course, do keep the comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. Let's kickstart the bulletin tonight by taking a look at stories making headlines. President William Ruto opened the first European Union Kenya Business Forum, which brings together 500 business people, 250 from Kenya and 250 from European Union. The Business Forum is organized by the European Union in partnership with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance and the European Business Council. The Business Forum is the first business-to-business event organized as part of the EU Global Gateway Strategy. A wide range of sustainable trade and investment partnerships will be launched to support growth and jobs in Kenya. The Global Gateway stands for sustainable and trusted connections that work for the people and the planet and that will help tackle most pressing global challenges, from fighting climate change to boosting competitiveness and security of global supply chains, with a strong role for the private sector and financial institutions. President Ruto joined the European Investment Bank Vice President Thomas Ostros at the official opening of the forum. Kenyan government officials at the opening plenary included Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Honorable Moses Kuria, Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua, and the French Minister Delegate for Foreign Trade, Economic Attractiveness, and French Nationals Abroad, Honorable Olivia Pech.
To continue talking to our partners and our neighbors, because while Kenya has taken a very aggressive and robust approach towards trade negotiations, we now have PS Kombodo here is negotiating 3 major agreements at the same time with the European Union, with the US, and with the UAE, all of them at the same time, which is strenuous and draining for him and his lean team. It's because we have got everything to gain and everything to lose also if we don't take this route. You are aware, and I've said this clearly to Ambassador and the team, that some of our neighbors and some of our partners, because of the least developed country status, they continue to enjoy, free market access to your markets. And Kenya has said that really we have to have this conversation.
The EU-Kenya partnership is supported by shared business values of openness, free trade, and sustainability. I know my counterpart, Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, is committed to the implementation of the tripartite free trade agreement to create a free trade area based on his firm belief that open market can unlock African economic potentials.
This week's EU-Kenya Business Forum and the EU-Tanzania Business Forum taking place on Thursday and Friday in Dar es Salaam comes at a crucial time when African business must be encouraged and enabled to expand, harness new business opportunities, and create skilled jobs.
Although the EU is already Kenya's biggest trading partner, there is still great potential to be exploited. And we will work together to bring more added value to this country, industries that add value, and we want to help diversify the economy and its exports. It is therefore essential also that we conclude the ongoing negotiations for the Economic Partnership Agreement, and we hope that the negotiations we have this week will be concluded when the President goes to Europe next month.
The second pillar of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda is the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector, where many Kenyans in our economy are based. This sector absorbs 9 out of every 10 people who join the workforce. The need to establish MSME sector business development centers across the country is urgent and cannot be gainsaid. Providing young people with stronger technological know-how, operational capability, business management skills, and general entrepreneurial capacities is critical. our skills-based, technology-oriented TVETs seek to empower our young people with relevant skills, while our county-based industrial and aggregation parks will provide meaningful avenues for aggregation, value addition, and agro-processing.
4 out of 5 borrowers surveyed report an improvement in their overall quality of life because of Tala's digital loans, despite the country's economy and cost of living being on razor's edge. This is according to the lender's 2022 Impact Performance Survey that was carried out by 60 Decibel, a global tech-enabled impact measurement company, between October to November 2022. While presenting the report findings to the press today in Nairobi, Tala's Director of Growth, Ms. Anstella Mombi, pointed out that one of the key discoveries from the survey was that despite the skyrocketing cost of living, 44% of the borrowers surveyed said the ability to save has improved, making borrowers feel more in control and less stressed about their finances because of Tala's digital loans. Let's take a look.
4 out of 5 borrowers surveyed report an improvement in their overall quality of life because of Tala's digital loans, despite the country's economy and cost of living being in a critical state. This is according to the lender's 2022 Impact Performance Survey that was carried out by 60 Decibels, a global tech-enabled impact measurement company, between October to November 2022. While presenting the report findings to the press today in Nairobi, Tala's Director of Growth, Ms. Anstella Mombi, pointed out that one of the key discoveries from the survey was that despite the skyrocketing cost of living, 44% of borrowers surveyed say that their ability to save has improved, making borrowers feel more in control and less stressed about their finances because of Tala's digital loans.
We did run an impact survey or an impact research with a company called 60 Decibels, who are quite renowned globally. And our goal was to fully understand what type of impact have we had in the market, which I know is a question I've received from media before. We have been in operation for about 8 years now. So what do we truly believe has been the impact of our business and some of the services we've been able to offer to Kenyans, to the 3.5 million Kenyans so far? I also want to call out that customers feel more in control of their finances, where we saw that 44% of customers actually mentioned that their ability to save had been increased just by virtue of their access to credit. And last but not least, I think one of the things that really stood out for us is the type of impact and benefit that we've seen to women. A key thing that I want to call out here is we saw about 85% of women actually saying that their self-confidence had actually increased just by virtue of them being able to access credit. We're very aware of some of the dynamics that exist in our societies, and this was a big win in the sense that, also 60% were saying that they felt that they were more influential in decision-making within their households. With the introduction of Hustler Fund in the digital lending space by the government, it has impacted digital lenders in different ways, including splitting of borrowers in some cases. But according to Monyin Thiga, who is the Tala General Manager, this has not affected the digital loan service provider, since they serve a specified customer base.
And for the Hustler Fund now getting into that space, they're actually now getting into our space. And that's the truth. However, like I mentioned, if you look at the opportunity size within this market, there's still such a huge gap. And when you look at it, traditionally government is not in the business of doing private business. And that is why in the regulations, when you look at them, they're actually saying they would want to partner with even private entities. So as much as the government is getting into this space, they're also inviting us to partner with them and see how we can be able to build on the kitty.
I think for Tala, pre-licensing, there was always a lot of work because we're a global company that we do strive to meet best practices in all of our markets. I think specifically for Kenya, there was a lot that was happening last year to make sure that we met all of our regulatory requirements, whether it was ODPC or whether it was CBK or whoever.
In January this year, Tala was one of the 12 more digital credit providers that were granted the operating license by the Central Bank of Kenya. The move by the Apex Bank came in response to the growing public concerns regarding the predatory practices of unregulated digital credit providers aimed at safeguarding consumer interests and promote responsible lending practices in the sector. CBK emphasized that the licensing procedure was created to guarantee that customer interests were protected and that providers follow applicable laws. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Bright and needy learners benefited from the NCBA Bank Scholarship Program. The scholarship targets learners who excelled in the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education exams but are not able to join secondary school due to financial constraints. According to the bank's chairman, James Degwa, the program has enrolled over 300 students in primary, secondary and tertiary institutions. Here are the details.
It was a relief for about 100 learners across the country as NCBA Bank, through their Citizenship Education Sponsorship Program, on Tuesday offered scholarships to bright and needy children. The program covers learner school fees for the 4 years of secondary education.
And a whole lot of gratitude goes to you, NCBA. Once people learn that lending a helping hand to someone might not change the whole world, but it will change the whole world for one person, then we will be able to achieve change.
Goldalyn Kakuya, who made history by attaining a first position in the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education exams in 2017, living with albinism and a beneficiary of the program, hailed the kind gesture by stating that NCBA Bank came in time to help her further her education despite her family being financially constrained at the time.
NCBA, through the foundation, were on time to help me at the point where I was in my education. I remember at the time we, as a family, were going through financial constraints.
Palm House Foundation CEO Eric Imani, who partners with the NCBA Bank, lauded the bank for their financial support and impact it has given to the lives of students, and further promised to continue partnering and working together for the betterment of learners.
Our scholarship program is part of our education pillar and focuses on supporting initiatives that aim to enhance access to and the quality of education for academically talented but financially underprivileged children. This is achieved through financial contributions and mentorship provided on an annual basis. And our guest of honor allow me to make a mention at this point of that the mentorship program is just as important as the financial support.
Paul Kibet, Director of Secondary Education, graced the event on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Ezekiel Mashogu, and commended NCBA for the noble initiative that continues to enable many needy children, further stating that the government is keen to continue collaborating with the private sectors to ensure all learners have access to quality education.
This noble initiative by NCBA goes beyond the individual beneficiary of the program, that is to the country. It's also an investment into the future of our country.
We have life skills. Then we have number 11, science. But for now, in junior secondary functions of the body.
Despite the scholarship programs from the government and private sectors, about 300,000 grade 7 learners who are expected to pioneer junior secondary are yet to be accounted for 3 weeks after schools opened for term 1. Another 186,000 who sat for Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and were expected to join Form 1 are yet to report to their respective schools of admission. This brings to nearly 500,000 the number of children whose whereabouts are yet to be established under the government's 100% transition policy. This raises questions on the extent to which parents and teachers have colluded in the emerging transfer racket, where some students are registered to sit for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examination. The spectacle of young boys and girls roaming village market centers and casual labor markets in search of jobs underscores the challenge the 100% transition policy is facing. Beatrice Njeri, GBS News.
Children Office in Narok County has arrested a 35-year-old man who married off a 17-year-old girl in a colorful traditional wedding in Nakara area in Narok West Sub-County. The man was arrested few hours after the colorful wedding when he posted his wedding photos on his Facebook page, raising questions among the members of the public on the age of the little girl. Narok County Children Director Pilot Kaemba said this prompted his officers to work with the area chief and police to arrest the culprit, and the girl who was taken to Olulunga Sub-County Hospital for medical checkup, where she was confirmed to have been defiled. The children's director said the girl dropped out of school in class 4 after her mother passed on, leaving her under the care of her father. The children's director said that the man was arrested at night while having supper with his newly wedded wife and taken to Mulot police station, while the girl was put under the care of the children's office. The girl is expected to be taken to a children's home where she will be enrolled back to school as the suitor battles the case in court. This comes a few days after a narrow court sentenced a 50-year-old man to life imprisonment after he pleaded guilty to marrying off a 10-year-old girl and defiling her.
Tumefaulu kuokoa mtoto mmoja msichana kutoka kwa ndoa ya utotoni, akiwa mtoto mwenye tulipata report ya kwamba ni mtoto wa miaka 14, lakini baada ya kuangalia makaratasi na kupitisha hospitali tumethibitisha ya kwamba ni msichana wa miaka 17. So bado ni mtoto, na huyu ni mtoto ambaye amewekwa kwa ndoa kwa mipango ya wazazi juzi, karibu wiki 2 ambaye imepita, kwa sababu mama yake aliaga juzi na ndugu yake na baba yake wakapanga kumwoza ili wajiondolee kwa mzigo ya kumlea. Na hata kabla ya hiyo ni mtoto ambaye alikuwa ametolewa shule akiwa class 4 kwa shule yenye alikuwa huko kwao. So wazazi kwanza walimtoa shule, na ndio sasa kumaanisha walikuwa na mpango ya
Renegade Orange Democratic Movement legislators have been challenged to relinquish their post and seek fresh mandates from the electorates. Ugenya ODM branch, under the chairmanship of Stephen Omondi, say the legislators have no moral authority to keep on clinging to the positions they got through the support of the party. Speaking after the branch meeting in Sega Township, the officials, who included Branch Secretary George Okech and youth leader Victor Odero, said the Renegade were hiding under the name public interest, while the truth was that they visited the State House to canvass for selfish interest. At the same time, Siaya Governor James Orengo has said that the attempt by the legislators to force a common front to frustrate former Prime Minister Raila Odinga in his strongholds will not succeed, adding that this will not be the first time that such a move had been taken. Orengo spoke at Urenga Trading Center in East Ungenya location, saying similar moves were seen in the 1960s against Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and even during the struggle for multi-party, but those behind them have always failed.
Put things straight here. People are moving from one party to the other, from one dispensation to the other, in the name of going to bring development to their people. I want to state it clearly that the constitution that we have in Kenya today has everything in place. There is no money for development or any resources of development that is found in State House.
Of their constituency can vote them in again in their respective rebellion parties they are going to form. Yes. And that one we are saying strongly as ODM, that let them resign. They cannot represent us in the National Assembly, yet they are in ODM and supporting the agendas of the opponent. So we want to tell them, let them resign to come and seek re-election in other parties that they see are better off than them.
Sisi kama chama cha ODM Ugenya branch tuna support rais wetu Raila Amolo Odinga na governor wetu James Agri Orengo kwa msimamo wao.
I'm told that part of the plan of those who went to State House from this part of the world, that is Nyanza, particularly Luo Nyanza, the objective is to frustrate Raila Amolo Odinga in Nyanza. And I want to say without any fear of contradiction, that is an impossible task. And I'm saying so because it has happened before. There was a time when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was kept out of politics. People went out there.
Once again, thank you for joining this live broadcast. And of course, do keep the comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. And of course, we do have a lot lined up for you in our news segment tonight. But first, let us take a quick commercial break.
Welcome to Mahanaim International High School. Are you worried about the character of your child? Mahanaim is the best Christian and character building school and offer British National Curriculum, IGCSE O-Level and GCE A-Level and mixed day and boarding school. For more inquiry, call 0710 111 333.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. You're still watching GBS News at 9. And to continue with our bulletin tonight, renovation of Embu Stadium, which is expected to host this year's Madaraka Day celebrations, has kicked off in earnest, with work expected to be completed in a month and a half time. Speaking during a tour of the stadium, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo asked the contractor to hasten works to ensure the stadium is delivered within the stipulated time. The Principal Secretary, who is also the chairman of the National Celebration Committee, further said that the government had also changed the celebration theme from affordable healthcare to a focus on SMEs. Omolo said it will be a golden opportunity for Embu County to look at how it can be able to spur the economy of the country. Omolo was accompanied by Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke, Ministry of Defense Principal Secretary Patrick Mariro, and State Department of Roads PS Engineer Joseph Mbogwa. Governor Cecily Barire said they had reached an agreement with the contractor that 95% of the workforce will be sourced locally to ensure locals benefit from the project.
Na nataka kuambia wale watu wanaweza jaribu kuleta siasa. Hii maendeleo si ya Mukunji, si ya governor, si ya mtu yoyote. Hii maendeleo ni ya wananchi wa Embu. Kwa hivyo mtu yote anaweza jaribu kuleta siasa ndio hii maendeleo isikuje kwa wingi. Mimi wa kwanza nitadili na yeye kwanza. Then tutaongea hapo governor pia deal na yeye. Maendeleo lazima tupate ndio tuweze kuleta Embu pale inafaa kuwa in the map of this country. As the contractor ako kwa ground already, nimepata watu locals wetu pale wakifanya kazi karibu 25 na wengine huku Moi Stadium, na hiyo ni kumaanisha already tumeanza kupata matunda ya ile kazi inataka kufanywa huku. At the end of the day, as I have always said, ni kwamba Embu County na Manyata constituency na specifically Embu town yetu lazima siku moja ikuwe city, na tukipata stadium mbili, tupate hizo barabara zote za lami na tupate maendeleo ya soko, mimi najua hata tukisema tukue city in 5 years tutakuwa.
Of great concern was also the issue of job opportunities for our young people, and the contractor has also confirmed that they'll be picking people as the need arises and as they move on, and that 95% of the staff will actually be our own locals here in Embu County, and only 5% of the experts who will be used from without the county. We're also requesting that we can also use our own transport facilities around here for sand, for whatever else he may require as he moves on with his work, and that we have agreed on. And we can only now say that now it's all systems go properly for this stadium that must be ready by far.
The Tana Athi River Development Authority Board has raised concerns about the continuous degradation along the River Tana, terming it as a major stumbling block to the sustainability of irrigation projects set up downstream. Speaking during a tour at the Tana Delta Irrigation Scheme, which is being revived, TARDA Board Chairman Patrick Gishuru reiterated that there was an urgent need for the conservation of River Tana by planting more trees along the banks to ensure they reduce the effects of destruction of the environment. James Odhiambo with the full report.
Speaking after touring the Tana Delta Irrigation Scheme, which is being revived, the Tana River Development Authority Board Chairman Patrick Gishuru said that there was an urgent need for conservation of River Tana by planting more trees along the banks to ensure they reduce the effects of the destruction of environment. This came after TARDA Board raised concerns about the continuous degradation along the River Tana, terming it as a major stumbling block to the sustainability of irrigation projects set up downstream.
As a chairperson of TANDA is to ensure that the waters of Tana River is properly conserved, the irrigation schemes that fall under the river are properly protected, and the catchment of Tana River is going to be protected.
According to the chairman, the main intent of the project is to irrigate around 12,000 acres, and the major concern is to conserve the river to ensure there is constant water available for irrigation downstream, particularly during the drought season.
This is the main intake of this project that's supposed to irrigate almost, how many acres? Around 12,000 acres. Our major concern is to conserve the river, to ensure that you have constant water that will be available to the scheme, so that at least during the dry season, we have enough resources.
So far, the major concern was that the canal is almost dying, though there were plans and proposal to ensure there is enough water for the delta in the main scheme and assure that as soon as the canal is irrigated and have enough water, they will be able to irrigate the scheme.
My major concern as I came down is to see that this canal is almost drying out. I do understand you have plans and proposals to ensure proper maintenance.
Additionally, the TARDA is focusing more on the manifesto given by the president in terms of food production, and that there is a big potential in Tana Delta Irrigation Scheme to feed the country. They will also work hand in hand with the national government, county government, and the local communities that live along the river to ensure that the project is a success.
Of course, with the collaboration, the national government, the county government, and the local community that live along this river.
Saif Jonathan, a resident of Vumbo village that is within the Tarda irrigation scheme in Tana Delta, expressed his joy that the project was being revived now because the community suffered a lot when it collapsed.
TARDA ilipoingia wakajenga kitu inaitwa protection dike. Saa hii Mungu ametusaidia, maji hayatusumbui, sisi tunakaa kwa vijiji wetu wakati wa season ambayo maji yamekuja.
Land degradation increases the vulnerability of biodiversity on the Tana River Basin, with 36% of the land being covered for agriculture. According to researchers, some ecosystem restoration may be necessary to best protect species in changing climate. The Tana River supplies Nairobi with 80% of its drinking water and also provides 70% of the country's hydropower. Reporting for GBS News, I am James Odhiambo.
And now moving to international news, at least 8 Nigerian police officers have been killed in separate attacks on Monday in the country's southeast, just days ahead of the presidential elections. The killing comes as more than 90 million people are registered to vote this Saturday to elect a successor to Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, who is stepping down after 2 terms in office. Let's take a look.
4 officers were killed in an attack on a police station in Anambra State on Monday. Local police spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga said while authorities are searching for suspects in the killing of the other police officers in a state attack over the weekend. The rebel attacked a Wada police station in Idemli North using improvised explosive devices and automatic firearms. 4 police objectives paid the supreme price, while a section of the station 1 police patrol vehicle and 3 exhibit vehicle parked in the premises were set ablaze. 3 of the attackers were also fatally wounded and 2 others were arrested. Police have blamed the attackers on rebel group known as the Indigenous People of Biafra, which is fighting for the independence of the ethnic Igbo people in the southeast Nigeria. Security network have denied responsibility for the frequent attack in the region. The violence has stoked fears about the ability of Nigerian security forces to protect voters at the polls this weekend. Phineas Okoye, an official with Nigerian Independent National Election Commission, said that the commission might not be able to deploy to some polling stations because of the security concern. The security agencies have promised that they have the capability to secure our community to make it possible for the people to vote. But for people in zone that are still in conflict, there is absolutely nothing we can do. Nigeria faces multiple security threats, including separate armed group fighting for different causes in southeast and northeast, and kidnapping gangs involved in criminality in the northwest. The nation called on Nigerian authorities to use strong action to uphold law and order across the country. Lena Lujok reporting for GBS News.
Fears of a wider health and environmental disaster are growing after a 150-car freight train operated by Norfolk Southern derailed a controlled ban released toxic chemicals at last week East Palestine, Ohio. With the report.
Residents reported seeing a fireball and mushroom cloud of smoke fill the skyline. Data released by the Environmental Protection Agency shows the train contained more toxic and carcinogenic chemicals than initially reported, including phosgene, a poisonous gas that has been used as a chemical weapon in war.
Monitoring equipment that they're using to determine things that are safe doesn't give us chemical specificity. It doesn't tell us what chemicals are present. It just says they're below some level. I think we just need more data on what people are being exposed to.
Officially lifted an evacuation order for residents last Wednesday, saying the air and water was safe, but residents have reported sore throat, burning eyes, and respiratory problems, and wildlife have been found dead.
My kids will never go play in our backyard again, which makes me very sad. Now it's never going to be safe for them, in my eyes.
Meanwhile, scrutiny has turned on to Norfolk Southern, which is in recent years has challenged regulatory laws aimed at making the rail industry safer and made mass cut to railroad staffing while spending billions of stock buybacks and executive compensation. Lena Lunjau, GBS News.
And on that note, it's time for the sports news. Let us get sporty, but first let's take a quick commercial break.
Welcome to Mahanaim International High School. Are you worried about the character of your child? Mahanaim is the best Christian and character building school and offer British National Curriculum, IGCSE O-Level and GCE A-Level, and mixed day and boarding school. For more inquiry, call 0710 111 333.
Na kukaribisha tena katika makao makuu yako katika ulimwengu wa michezo.
Yoga is not a sport. Yoga is actually a way of life.
Ukiona FIFA inaingilia kati, it means that the FIFA rules have been violated.
From day one akiingia kwa akademi yako, unamwambia masomo na talent lazima ziende. The moment nasikia masomo imeenda chini, hata time out kwa football account.
Wanawake ni wengi actually mpaka saa hizi. Tumekaa ni kama tumekuwa wanawake wamekuwa wengi kuliko wanaume. Kuna wale ambao ni artistic. Yes, wanapenda mambo ya kuigiza.
I am coded to look for solutions.
You limit yourself, not the sport doesn't limit you.
We say a dedicated women-only show that focuses only on women.
Academy is one of the activities of IYF. IYF being an NGO focused on the empowerment of the youth, we have various activities. So one of the program now is the IYF Weekend Academy. It started way back in the year 2009. And through this, we want to empower the youth with the soft skills that are necessary for their growth. So we prepare various academies, various programs so that they can be able to be nurtured in terms of the soft skill that's needed. We say we supplement what education is doing. Education is teaching them the knowledge part of it, but for us in the Weekend Academy, we want to give that platform where they can be able to now practice what they have learned.
So my name is Eric Maura. Currently I'm doing camera operation. IYF is very important because one of the things I've gotten a chance to learn a lot through camera operation. I've also gotten a chance to host one of the shows known as SportZoom. So IYF is very good because even camera operation, I did not know there are different types of cameras. I did not know how to operate a camera. But through IYF, I've gotten a chance to know all this.
The IYF Weekend Academy teacher for the camera operations. It has been a nice experience. Seeing young men coming, learning things to do with filming, and also bringing out the passion that lays underneath. Then I'm very much happy because I know and I believe that soon they will also make a living out of it.
Everywhere, GBS.
Kiambu Plackers lost 38 to 65 points to Githurai Cheetahs today at Kasarani Indoor Arena. Cheetahs dominated the 40 minutes with Plackers being the weaker side. Githurai Cheetahs stand at the 7th place with 52 points, while Plackers stand at the 10th place with 16 points. Let's take a look.
Kiambu Plackers lost to Githurai Cheetahs 38 to 65 today at Kasarani Indoors Arena on the men's Kabaddi Season 1 League. The match seemed a hand for Kiambu Plackers, who are struggling on the 10th position. It was not a hand-fought victory, as Githurai Cheetahs grabbed easy point over Plackers. Githurai Cheetahs stand at the 7th place with 52 points. Speaking after the match, Plackers captain Francis Gamau said the game did not go as they expected as they won on the first leg. He termed poor communication among his teammates as one of the reasons they lost today.
Kidogo hajatokea vile nilikuwa natarajia juu first leg tuliwagonga mbaya sana. Hii second leg nayo tumelose. Ile kitu tu sana naona imetucost ni kuto communicate between players. Defenders especially si kwa reading naona tuko sawa. Defense ni imetuchenga kidogo. Pale defense wamekosa communicate ikatucost. Yeah.
Gamau termed Kabaddi as a game you will fully rely on in the coming years, as it will be a well-developed game that will sustain and support the living of its players.
In the 5 years to come, hii ligi itakuwa hiyo ni itakuwa wa job. Nitakuwa nikiamka asubuhi naenda gym yangu safi, jioni maybe naenda teamwork, na kama napiga ligi napiga mshahara yangu safi. Hiyo ndio ndio tunaomba Mungu tu atusaidie, tunaomba support ya government itusaidie kuweza kufanikisha juu majobu huku viko ofisi ni kidogo sana. Hatuwezi toshea wote kwa hizo maofisi, lakini sisi vijana wadogo tuko na talent. Hiyo ndio tunaomba. Juu sasa hii kuna watu wametokea kuisupport. Pia tu even the local organizations zikam to support, wakam kutupiga hii tu boost tupige tu ita employ watu wengi.
On the other end, Roger Somondi of Githurai Cheetahs was the man of the match, termed teamwork and handwork amongst them as the main reason they won, and he has hopes they will continue doing good.
Mchezo imekuwa poa. So far so good. Tumeshukuru kwa teammate wangu, tumework together ndio tukamanage kuwin hii match ya leo. Ni ile tuzo hizo tumekuwa tukipitia pamoja na timu yangu, but hapo awali nilikuwa na injury personally, but so far na recover poa. That's why tunarudi kwa game. So tunataka from game kutoka siku nimerudi kuendelea tuongeze nguvu kwa team.
He thanked the federation led by Madam Laventa Oguta for bringing the league, which they see as a platform for players to showcase their talent.
Kwanza mimi nafurahia kwa federation yetu wameorganize kitu kama hii for youths, because tukiwa pale mtaa tunakuanga tu hapo idol tu, hakuna kazi tunafanya, maybe jua kali naye siku hizi ni ngumu, so tunafurahia federation, makofi kwa tukipata vitu kama hii hatutakuwa na ile time ya kumingle na vijana wabaya pale mtaani.
Reporting for GBS TV, I'm McDonald.
Liverpool has not won in any of his last 6 meetings with Real Madrid, as Klopp claims that his squad is on form today to face Real Madrid. The Spanish side will face Liverpool at Anfield in the first leg of the round of 16 ties. On the other end, Ghanaian Turkey-based Christian Atsu's body was taken to Ghana waiting for burial. Here are the details.
Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp claims that his team will face Real Madrid today on a better form compared to the form they were 2 weeks ago. Liverpool are recovering from losses from Wolves and Brighton, with recently securing 2 back-to-back wins against Everton and Newcastle. They will face Real Madrid today at Anfield. They have met 6 times since 2014, and Liverpool has not won in any of the meetings, with the recent being last season finals of the Champions League. Real Madrid will face Liverpool without Tchouameni and Toni Kroos, but Karim Benzema is expected to be back today after being subbed in Elche 4-0 win. On the other end, Liverpool Diego Jota, who is back in the squad, is expected to start today after impressing against Newcastle. First place in the Serie A, Napoli will face Eintracht Frankfurt at Deutsche Bank Stadium on the second leg of the round of 16. Spalletti's side has 5 wins, no draws and 0 losses in the last 5 matches, while Frankfurt have won 4 and drawn once in the last 5 matches. 31 years old Ghanaian Turkey-based forward Christian Atsu died in a devastating earthquake that struck Turkey 2 weeks ago. His body has been missing, but it was found late last week. Atsu began his career in Portugal, Rio Ave and Porto. Atsu moved to Chelsea in 2013 but failed to make a senior appearance, instead moving on a long deal to Everton, Bournemouth and Malaga. The player then moved to Magpies on a 5-year contract, making 121 appearances and scoring 8 goals. On September, Atsu joined Atispor and he scored the winning goal on the night before the earthquake. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm McDonald.
Thank you, McDonald, for that detailed report. And that marks the end of our news segment tonight. And of course, always remember, here at GBS News at 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge. Good night.